Well, violence in schools, it's a serious issue that creates unsafe work conditions at times and stress on staff. And then this can lead to negative mental health outcomes, which can constitute a long-term disability. Great to have Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Law back on the show to talk about this this topic that is becoming more and more relevant in our schools. So, Nainesh, what instances of violence are schools experiencing that you're seeing?
Right, Tim. Obviously there's been an uptake that we're seeing since the lockdowns and the ending of the pandemic. There's been recent studies, I believe, from February of this year through teachers associations that are showing that, look, the stress is increasing. There's certainly an increase in disruptive behavior and violence. And that impacts, obviously, the students involved, other students, and teachers. And we're seeing, in fact, a greater amount of stress leave type of applications, whether it be sick days, short-term disability, or long-term disability, that teachers throughout the province, in fact, are applying for these days.
Now, how is it different than, let's say, other stress-related leaves or absences when it comes to this type of instance? Right.
Well, with traumatic events, certainly that teachers may witness or have to be involved in, we can lead to a condition known as post-traumatic stress disorder. So in addition, obviously, to anxiety and depression, when you have PTSD, the outcomes, they obviously take a lot longer, in fact, to recover from. So in terms for the teachers, they obviously have a good union, CUPE, and they've got a good collective agreement that gives them some remedies that they could use in situations where they're suffering from stress-related burnout and mental illness. First of all, they have their sick days, and they also have short-term disability benefits available through them. They have an insurer called OTIP, the Ontario Teachers Insurance Plan, that really acts like any other disability insurer. It's a little different because it's almost really self-funded, and an application can be made for long-term disability benefits, and it would be up to the teacher then to prove that they're disabled from performing the tasks, the essential tasks of their employment.
So then how do you prove that?
Right.
That's the question.
Right. So medical evidence, right? The most important form in any disability application, in addition to the OTIP applications, is getting the physician's statement. The doctor needs to comment not just on what the condition is, but how it affects the person's function. So to get to that, the teacher obviously needs to visit the doctor on all occasions that they need to, and not just sort of keep it to themselves, because a lot of these complaints of mental illness and stress are in fact subjective. It's based on your own self-reporting of what one has been through. So it's important to visit the doctor on a regular basis, and that physician statement, that form, is going to be very important. There's also WSIB. Very difficult to prove sometimes with WSIB. We have a system that unfortunately doesn't, it's very difficult to maneuver that system for stress leave. It's difficult to, there's a very low percentage of claims that are getting accepted with WSIB, but that is one remedy. And OMERS disability pension, depending on the level of seniority a teacher has and their contributions, they could either get a waiver of premium or actual disability benefits through OMERS as well.
What about the schools? Keeping staff safe. What's the responsibility on schools?
Well, there's a significant responsibility. There's a recent study that, look, doors are, many doors are not locking the way they're supposed to as well. I don't know if it boils down to, I know we had the talk of, I think police used to be in schools, things like that, and I don't know if that's the solution. I think obviously having enough security measures in place, but also education for the children, for the parents, having ways to deal with mental illness when it comes to the children themselves. Again, they've missed a couple of years of socialization with each other, and that can have an effect on their development as they grow into adulthood as well.
We're out of time here, but have you seen a difference in the union supporting teachers?
Yeah, listen, all insurance companies, they want to help, but they're there to make money and keep the premiums as opposed to spend it. I've noticed, for example, with OTIP, probably more denied claims, and they're fighting their claims much more aggressively over the past year and a half than they used to. So I've noticed a little bit of pushback from many insurers in terms of how they deal with disability claims and mental health claims in general.
A topic that we will continue to discuss. We're talking about it in the news this morning. So I always appreciate Nainesh Kotak coming on the show from Kotak Law and bringing topics that are ones that to discuss, and we'll do that going forward. More Morning Live after this.